So long, my friends, I'll see you again. It pains me to be here without Lynn. My time has come, mine so cumbersome, filled with whiskey, filled with sin, trampled down, this storm surround. Time to leave this broken town. So long, my folks, how the story goes. I can't look back from moving on. I'll take my time saying my goodbyes. I'm reminded of the times my father cried. I flew just like a bottle, gracefully to the dirt beneath, trampled down, this storm's around. It's time to leave. It's time to leave this broken town. I'll take this road, however far it goes, and I'll drown my woes in every bar it holds. This bitter end left a bitter man. My sweetness left last summer's end. I flew just like a bottle, gracefully to the dirt beneath, trampled down, this storm surround. Time to leave this broken town, trampled down, this storm surround. Time to leave. Time to leave. Time to leave this broken town. Time to leave this broken town. Time to leave this broken town. My heart, pumping all day long. Get me to morning when darkness comes. My heart, ooh. with these things that I call my own. Life, it isn't always grand, but when you finally take that stand, you become a man. You needed to become. You meant everything to me. While you left, I could not see. I guess people just do what they want. Yeah. Time, it goes faster every day, and my heart, it leads away, while the future, it fades into a memory. Is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering do or die around me. You say your last good night while I get
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
The ammunition used by Psywar.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
gripping at my skin, the walls of night closing.
But the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form.
As I wait to say my last goodbye.
These are the Psy-War soldiers.
Caught Up is an echo chamber for content creators. Almost all content on this show, Caught Up, is created by citizen journalists. I share content created by citizen journalists whom I believe to be the best at finding facts buried deep into the abyss, or outlets whom I believe to be the best for verifiable information. We have to operate within their system, and we only have the information they allow us to have. These individuals who nerd out on fact-finding missions and then add their opinion to better inform me, to make the best choice for me, in this war of narratives is Resolute. This information war is a battle for your mind and ultimately compliance. Mainstream media would have you believe that an echo chamber promotes the spread of misleading information or fake news, thereby reinforcing one's confirmation bias. So, I am excited to share the content in hopes you will turn off mainstream media, whom I believe is just another version of entertainment. So again, welcome to Caught Up.
All right, man. Welcome to Caught Up. This is, I think it's episode 49. It doesn't even matter what episode it is. We just want to get on here and talk about what's going on in, it doesn't even matter, in this world that we got going on at the moment. And, have you guys seen what's going on with the whole Kamala machine here? The new narrative. It's not a new narrative. It's an old narrative that's resurfaced into a new narrative. I just, for the life of me, I can't grasp the fact that Trump's a Nazi. If you weren't aware, Kamala came out today with her emergency breaking news. Got out there like she's president or something, and going to let us know just exactly who Donald Trump is. Just a few weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it is. Not many days left for this election. So with great power comes great responsibility, and they've had, almost 4 years, supposedly, and they've been extremely irresponsible with the great power that they have. So it blows my mind. Responsible with the great power that they have. So that the things that they do and the tactics that they have and all this other stuff. I know that my show is being played on Wednesday. Yesterday, I didn't have an opportunity to get to do it. As I keep saying, I have a new place I'll be moving into soon. I hope soon. I keep saying soon. It's they're dragging their asses is all I can say. And I should have already been in it, and but it is what it is. So I had to drive up there to see what the hell was going on, and no one was there. So it interfered with what I wanted to do on Tuesday. So eventually, I'll be in the new place. We'll be in the new place and a new little studio and all that. I'm excited. It's not happening fast enough. So, but anyway, back to what I was trying to say was this little machine that they got going, the machine. And they got Obama out there with Eminem. You like Eminem? Huh. I don't like Eminem. I don't care that he endorsed what's her name, and I don't care that he endorsed a fake VP running as a candidate for president. It's all pretty fake, and so what the heck's going on? Hang on 1 second. All right. So yeah. So there's all these articles out there. Look, I've been talking about, what was it? The Coming Trump Revenge. I did a show on it, an episode on it, a couple, I don't know, maybe a little over a week ago. And we were reading the article that was from a gentleman who is a political writer now, who is a former Department of Justice attorney, official, something. I believe he's an attorney. And he knew exactly the breakdowns, the ins and outs, how that things work. And then everything he talked about in that article, he said Trump was going to do, was exactly what the Biden administration has done. And then so here we are, a couple weeks from the election. And what do we got? We got Trump endorsed Hitler. Not like that. Didn't endorse Hitler, but he obviously, he must have said something, because that guy Kelly, that used to be his former, whatever the hell he was, chief of staff, and then fake TV generals. It's what this is all about right here. This part of it anyway. So let me get into it quickly here. We want to make sure our technology is caught up to us. And so, all right, this is The Hill. This is a left-leaning publication. And it says CNN hosts GOP Senator tangle over Trump's reported praise of Hitler, right? And it says the Tennessee senator, and obviously he's a senator from the state that I'm from, Tennessee. And CNN's John Berman, in an interview on Wednesday, spread over past comments, sparred, my bad, I have an East Tennessee education, sparred over past comments. And they claim that was made by former President Donald Trump, in which the Republican presidential nominee reportedly praised Adolf Hitler, right? Crap, where'd it go? It says Haggerty in the interview, he took the comments with a grain of salt, given the relationship between Trump and Kelly. He says, I worked both with Kelly and Trump in the last administration. It was not a good fit. General Kelly's been on record many times criticizing Trump, and obviously he doesn't like President Trump. Haggerty said when Berman pressed the senator on the audio recordings, right? I'll be a monkey's uncle, man. There was a video on here where old Kelly was talking about, somehow it went away. Anyway. Hang on, let me refresh it and see what it does. It literally had the interview. It was just a couple minutes long with Kelly. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. I was in the wrong spot. Anyway, sorry about the dead air, guys. I don't mean to do that. You know, you plan this stuff out, and anyway, and then when you go live, it just sort of doesn't fall in the same way. I mean, I got a sheet of paper here with everything written down in order the way that I want it to go, so I look so professional here. But anyhow, it says, Haggerty, who did the interview with him, sparred with the guy anyhow. He says, I do say this as well. Trying to compare Trump to Hitler is dangerous, Haggerty said, as Berman interjected with references to a text message from Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, when he apparently privately called the Republican nominee America's Hitler, right? So, you got CNN's host, GOP Senator tangle over Trump's reported praise of Hitler. And who said that praise, right? Right here, folks.
He commented more than once that, you know, that Hitler did some good things too. And of course, if you know history, again, I think he's lacking in that. But if you know what Hitler was all about, it'd be pretty hard to make an argument that he did anything good.
So what would you say when he said to you that Hitler did a lot of good things?
Well, I tell him that. I said, you know, if you first of all, you should never say that. But if you knew what Hitler was all about from the beginning to the end, everything he did was in support of his racist, fascist life, philosophy, so that nothing he did you could argue was good. It was certainly not done for the right reason, and but he would occasionally say that.
What would he say when you would lay that out to him?
He'd just, that'd be the end of the conversation usually.
So, that conversation right there by, goodness. I want to say it was from the Washington Post or the New York Times. This says the Atlantic reported. Anyway, that right there is what prompted this right here. Uh-oh. Yeah.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify, in his mind, as the enemy within, like judges, like journalists, like nonpartisan election officials. It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans. All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is. This is a window into who Donald Trump really is, from the people who know him best, from the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room. And it is clear from John Kelly's words that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia to carry out his personal and political vendettas. Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable. And in a second term, people like John Kelly would not be there to be the guardrails against his propensities and his actions. Those who once tried to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses would no longer be there, and no longer be there to rein him in. So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power. The question in 13 days will be, what do the American people want? Thank you.
There you go. What do the American people want in 13 days? What do you, Kamala? You want that? You know what desperation looks like? Desperation looks like that right there. They got a former chief of staff, a general by the name of Kelly, who doesn't like the guy, to come out and say something like that. For Kamala Harris to present herself in a position like a president, breaking news, to let the American people know that he doesn't understand history. You don't think that he understood that Hitler killed a bunch of Jews or Americans or Germans or Russians or French, or I'm pretty sure that we all understand what that is.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then
it's amazing what they'll do. What this is. They think this is supposed to destroy his candidacy. Like, we're not going to vote. They're worried because apparently Trump has been letting people know that they ought to be out there voting early. Haven't yet. And probably wait till the right day. But maybe I don't know. And they're worried. And so this is a tactic. How do I know it's a tactic? Let's see what the Pelosi used to think about it.
And it's a diversionary tactic. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic, and it's self-evident. But it's
it came right out of her mouth, not mine. It's a tactic, and it's self-evident. So they get out, they get this recording from Kelly, they put it out there, they get Dingbat to have a breaking news conference or whatever, and it's all about Trump. Trump did this. Do you know that Trump is the reason we have climate change? Trump is the reason we have inflation. Trump is the reason why, I don't know, the sun doesn't set on the time that they think they need it to. Their common denominator here is Trump is the reason for everything that could go wrong, and they are the supposed administration that's in office at the moment. And so it's weird that they would not take credit in their part. It makes no sense. So they market it, right? And just to show you how they market that, then they do stuff like this.
Hey, hi, Michael. You know, for some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who are thinking about attending a rally with Musk and Trump, they don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros. And I'm telling you, when Trump, years ago, I guess, said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me. Basically what he's saying in parentheses is, these people are so stupid, they're so dumb, they'd still vote for me. They have no respect for you, trust me.
No respect for you, trust me. I don't trust any celebrity at the moment. I'll say this, if you're getting your information from, some NFL player or, like some fucker like Eminem or like Alex Jones or, I don't know, like Charlie Kirk or, some of these other people out there, who weren't a part of the censorship, they were allowed to carry on because they played the part of the narrative the way that they were supposed to. But what did Pelosi say? We market it. We get things involved. So they got Michael Keaton. Guess who Michael Keaton was, if you don't know? He was Batman at one time in life, right? Played that part very well, man. Mr. Batman. And so here they are marketing it. Listen to this guy.
And he keeps talking about how he wants to get even and may have to call out the military on our own people. The danger within. I suppose that includes me. And I mean, basically, he's asserted the right to go after anybody that he thinks, in his wisdom, is a threat, right? You sign the oath says you promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And he said, I think I'll start with domestic. Bring me the army. Now, I used to like President Clinton. I once said only he and Ronald Reagan were the great presidents since World War II. But I've had a change of heart, and I think he needs to go away for a long time. And I'm not going to execute him, although I could, under the Supreme Court's ruling. But I think I'll just send him to the Colorado Supermax for the rest of his life. So I've already got a petition ready. I want him to transfer me to Guantanamo. Because when you're 78, you're a lot more worried about it being too cold than being too hot. We're laughing about this, but let me tell you something. Being president is a sacred duty.
being president is a sacred duty. And yet, when he was getting a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky, how sacred was that? That happened, folks. I mean, that's real. That's not a conspiracy theory. They kept the dress. They did all kinds of stuff to make sure that when it was time to go after Clinton, Mr. Bill Clinton, they had it together. So now we've got Michael Keaton and Bill Clinton on this narrative of Trump is going to be a dictator, come after everybody. Odd he would bring up Guantanamo Bay, right? Send him where he is warm. It might be that he actually ends up there. Maybe not him, or maybe his wife, right? So, and then, Clinton talks about how he took an oath to protect against the enemy, foreign or domestic, right? And so, and he said they decided to go after the domestic. Well, like with everything, they don't always necessarily know what's going on. I say it that way because Bill Clinton probably knows a lot about what's going on. He just chooses to play the dumb card like this dumb southerner from Arkansas. Doesn't work. So let's see what Kash Patel talks about. How the civilian and the military work together, what Donald Trump did, why these generals don't like him, why somebody by the name of General Kelly would come out and say what he did, why Pelosi would say something years ago that would come forward today that would show you just exactly what they're trying to do. They think in the last 13 days, 14 days, whatever it is, they're going to destroy him. He's already won.
So, Kash, I'm not quite sure why a presidential candidate comes out to react to a story in the way that she did, particularly a story that, even if it were true, is at least 4 years old, if not older than that, because John Kelly was gone as chief of staff not too far into the administration. And why would it come out now, just 13 days until Election Day?
Because they want to put President Trump and his powerful national security policy on defense. We are not going on defense. When President Trump was a commander in chief, he went on offense. He ended the forever wars. He crushed the narco traffickers. He brought home hostages. He ended child sex trafficking. And he was brave enough to use military assets in an expansive order to keep not only Americans safe, but the global world order safe. He made sure the DOD was no longer politicized and weaponized. Every one of the names she mentioned, all those individuals begged and auditioned to be in the positions they got. And when President Trump told them that the Department of Defense is a civilian chain of command, just like President Washington and our Constitution designated it to be, they did not like that. They were fighting off 60 years of the defense industrial complex owning the Department of Defense, and Donald Trump restored civilian authority to the chain of command. And he executed that when he asked for an investigation of Vanessa Guillen's death, tragic death, so we know what actually happened. And so the military could provide her the full honors and designation she deserves. That's the commander-in-chief they want. What they want now is us to react to headlines. And I'm going to remind the world what Donald Trump did as our commander-in-chief. And I am going to remind the world that he was the one that did not politicize it and did not bend the knee to Washington, D.C. and the generals that have been going in and out of the defense industrial complex, raking in tens of millions of dollars off of another man's war and sending men and women to die for matters that aren't our own. That's what they are afraid of, that President Trump will restore the DOD to the civilian chain of command the Constitution demands, and safeguard this world and our nation.
He says a mouthful there, folks. I don't know what else to tell you, how the civilian and military is supposed to work. The president, who is a civilian, he's elected by civilians. He's put in place as the President of the United States, is the sole commander-in-chief of the U.S. military. Those generals don't like it. The deep state doesn't like it. The world that wants to use our kids to go fight wars like that. That's what the hell they're pissed off about. And so this is what created this breaking news by, what appears, didn't Joe Biden come out the other day and say it's time to put Donald Trump in jail? They're worried about Donald Trump. They ought to be worried about we, the fucking people. Right here. We, the people. They're worried about Donald Trump, and they ought to be worried about we, the people. The mandate of the people right now, the mandate of the public says Donald Trump is to be inaugurated on January 20th, 2025. He's already won the fucking election, right? The mandate of the people says that down ballot means that we have the House and the Senate. The mandate of the people is, which is the majority and not the minority, says that we want things run a certain way. We want states in control of things like abortion and other things, and the federal government to be out of it. We want the federal government to be worried about the people and not the people to be worried about the federal government. And right now, we're in that little battle at the moment. You know what I mean? That little information war that's going on because, people have to stand up and hold others accountable. And it sucks. Look at Elon at the moment. The Department of Justice is coming after him. Why? Because he offered up to donate $1 million in a raffle to people that signed up or registered to vote or to sign some pledge that he had going on, whatever it was. I don't know all the details. What I do know is the Department of Justice, the federal government, is coming after him for that. And there's more, right? So if we go into, remember at the beginning, what was it? The coming Trump revenge tour, right? So we saw Bill Haggerty in The Hill. We saw Gateway Pundit and Kamala Harris holds her breaking news. What is it? Breaking news emergency press conference to attack Trump with a debunked hoax. Man, this is what we got, right? This is Nancy Pelosi coming out saying, we do this, and then we give it to you guys in the media, and then you regurgitate it and repeat it over and over and over again, and then the people believe it because the media said it, and the government's saying it, and they're bullshit. No, not right. Not at all, right? This is a tactic that they're using against their political opponent, Donald Trump. It's this so-called Biden administration that's not duly elected. There's more proof, I don't care what you think, there's more proof that he was never duly elected than there was that he was elected. If you've been listening to Trump here lately, he's talking about his second term, one in which he doesn't want to take credit for. There's committees. He's got people in place, this, that, and the other. I don't know how true that is. What I do know is the man talks a lot of truth. So there may be something truthful about what he's saying there. That this Biden administration can only go so far because there's a continuity government that's been installed, a devolution, so to speak. Right? Something's going on. These patriots know what's going on. If Biden had full control of the country and the military the way that he's supposed to as a duly elected president, we would have been in war with Russia probably before they ever invaded Ukraine. Or all the other people that gave him money that was in a laptop that Hunter handed over. Yeah. Say what you will. It's not Trump. It's the deep state. It's the uniparty. It's these unelected officials that are up there. It's the shit that's been going down for a long time. And it's got to stop. It has to stop, right? So, let's go on to the next article, right? The Patriot Post. I don't know if you guys like the Patriot Post or not. Let's go on to the next article, right? The Patriot Post. I don't know if you guys like. But I'm an echo chamber, so I share it all. I shared the Hill and the political, left-leaning garbage people. I mean, if it Washington Post and New York Times, you got to go to the Wayback Machine for them because they want to charge you. It says left media latch on to Trump as an evil dictator narrative again. This came out today on October 23rd. This article was yesterday, October 22nd. Donald Trump has always had the most astonishing gift for hyperbole and bluster, which gets him in perennial trouble with humorless and diabolically partisan mainstream media. And you all got to remember, I got an East Tennessee public education. Partisan mainstream media. For them to put these big words like that in an article, Emmy Griffin. The latest pronouncement that has them in hysterics is the use of the phrase, the enemy from within. Trump's October 13th interview with Fox News' Maria Bartiromo had one particular exchange that Democrats are raging about. Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful election day. They're worried. Trump, well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening because he spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within. Not even the people that have come in and are destroying our country. And by the way, totally destroying our country, the towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And it should be very easily handled, if necessary, by National Guard or, if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen. Now, we just watched where Patel said that Trump put the civilian back in charge of the military. And then we have people out there like Cash, who said a little while ago, 2 years ago, where he was trying to explain, or maybe it was Flynn, trying to say that the Senate, the House, Congress has control over that. Makes you wonder, right? Makes you wonder. Makes me wonder. And I believe that the way, I believe there's more in store for what's going to, we're living in great times, ladies and gentlemen, and for the doom and gloom that they put out there, there's a whole lot of good and blessedness that's been going on with this. Things are happening. People are awakening. Things are being exposed. He was a bull in the China shop. The first 4 years, he exposed everything, and this exposure phase that we've been going through, the four branches of government. Did you realize there was four? There's only three. Where did they come up with this fourth? It's that like shadow government. It's like Obama in the basement. That bitch. Obama, you're a bitch. If you're listening to me, you and your husband, Michael, you're bitches. Come out. I mean, give me a break. This makes no sense whatsoever. So let's see what Maria asks our president.
On election day, let's say you win. I mean, let's remember, you've got 50,000 Chinese nationals in this country in the last couple of years. Yeah. You've got people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You've got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists. Right. What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful election day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military. because they can't let that happen.
You told me back in February that you were going to rent out Madison Square Garden for a rally.
Yeah.
And now you're going to do it at the end of October.
Not only Madison Square Garden, we're taking 4 or 5 arenas. We fill them up very fast. As you know, we took where the Islanders play in Long Island. We had, I guess, 23,000 people, and we could have sold it out literally 3 times. We had thousands of people. We had tens of thousands of people that couldn't get in. We put screens on the outside of the building so they could see it. But that was incredible. And we just signed on Madison Square Garden. We're probably going to make a deal in Atlanta. We're trying to get the Atlanta arena, and we fill them up in minutes. And there's a great enthusiasm.
I think Madison Square Garden can only hold 20,000 people.
We're going to fill it up very fast. It's true.
He's pretty confident in himself, isn't he? The people from within. Who do you think those people are? The people from within, right? The people from within are these people that we talked about in that article, The Coming Trump Revenge Tour, right? The enemies list, right? Hey, for the 5 or 4 followers or live, just hit the like button. The 2 that's on Facebook, hit the like button, and the rest that are on Rumble and the one that's on YouTube, if you hit the like button, I'd appreciate that. The enemies list: Joe Biden, Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Anthony Fauci, the members of the January 6th committee, that chick named Cheney, remember her? Jack Smith. Do you guys know about Jack Smith? He's not really a legal appointed prosecutor. That's all going to come out eventually. It always does. Alvin Bragg. Andrew McCabe. Mark Milley. Isn't he a general? Barack Obama. And unidentified public officials, donors, and voters. You know who he's talking about? He's talking about the people that had the opportunity to do the right thing. If you follow me anywhere, on anything, Instagram, Facebook, Truth, X, whatever, I'm constantly saying, do the right thing. The people who know, who are in the know, that aren't doing anything, do the right thing. Do the right thing. If you do the right thing, then when the time comes, and the time is fucking coming, right? If you do the right thing and the time comes, then you have nothing to worry about. If you fail to do the right thing and then the time comes, then don't get upset when actions happen. About the best way to say that, right? In politics, in normal life, and lawfare. If anybody's out there watching that knows anything about me, if you're not doing the right thing, nothing can stop what's coming. I ain't fucking playing. Do the right thing. That's what I'm saying. We do the right thing. We do the right thing. These people that he's got on this list, they're worried about what he's going to do because they've been doing it to him ever since he said he was going to run again for president. Because as soon as he didn't say that, they left him alone. He's out there golfing, this, that, and the other. And then he comes out early, says he's going to run again, and then what? The raids and then the assassination attempt. I mean, just one damn thing after another, right? Do the right thing. Do the right thing. That's what he's saying. So he's telling these DAs, these judges, these state and local officials that have pull and power and this, that, and the other. I mean, in the county that I live in East Tennessee, the justice system, it's as bad as the federal system. The judges that hand down from the bench their decisions, their rulings, they're bad. They're bad judges. And if they're in my county, they're in every county. We have 95 counties in Tennessee, so, there's probably 95 bad judges. And I would say that my county's got more than one. And they don't do things legally. They're lawfare. They are anyway, it's for another show. My point is, do the right thing. They're worried about him doing these things because they did these things to a T, the way the playbook described it. And they are very, very worried he's coming after them. And rightfully so, they should be. Me, as a tax-paying citizen, registered voter, Second Amendment, constitutionalist, I don't know, patriot, whatever. I want him to go after all of them. I want them in Guantanamo Bay. I want them prosecuted legally. And if the Constitution calls for their crimes to be executed, I want them executed publicly so that people can see this in our country and across the world. And I think that it should be done probably from a freshman to a senior level in our public institutions so that those young minds who are so influenced will understand that if you go outside of the mandate of we the people, these are the consequences. You're being held accountable. And so those names, Joe Biden, remember Robert Hur? Joe Biden's guilty of all those things. Joe Biden is treasonous. As a senator, he took documents that didn't belong to him. Only presidents are allowed to do that, not even vice presidents. As a vice president, he sold out his seat, if he even was a duly elected vice president, to the highest bidder in China, Russia, and wherever else. And this is not just a conspiracy theory, it's absolute fact. And now I got 3 people on Facebook. If you got 3, hit the thumbs up, guys. Do me some justice, man. Hit the thumbs up, comment. There's live chat. But, and I forgot where I was going. Yeah, hold these people accountable. I want them to go after the Hunter and the Jim Bidens. I want them to go after Kamala Harris. I want them to go after Hillary Clinton and Anthony Fauci and Nancy Pelosi and BRICS and the members of the January 6th committee. I want them to hold them all accountable. That is the goal, and I hope it's achievable. I really do. I really do. The Coming Trump Revenge Tour. That's a great article. The reason it's a great article is because the guy that wrote it is Ann Cush, and this is what he was. He's a former federal prosecutor at the Department of Justice. And so he knows. And they outline in this article exactly what they think Trump's going to do, only because that's what they've been doing. That's what they've been doing, right? Let's go to, I'll show you real quick, just the article, the cover. It's political, see? Guys, see? Let's go to, I'll show you real quick. I'm an echo chamber. I share it. It's political. It's a left-leaning article right here. It's ridiculously left. And then here it is. Trump, the Coming Trump Revenge Tour. And it goes into great detail. The Ann Cush, Kahardhori, whatever. He's a senior writer for Political Magazine and a former federal prosecutor for the Department of Justice. So he goes into great detail on exactly just what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, the way they're going to do it, the list of people. Why would you have a list of people? You have a list of people because the people on that list are the people that have created the issues in this. They should add Hillary Clinton. They should add the Bushes. They should add, so many more people. The director of the FBI, Comey, all these people, and you just go, the levers of both policy and personal that either didn't exist last time he was in office or that he didn't think to use. They are so afraid of what he might do and who he's after and all these things. and so on and so forth. And this article is amazing for a left-leaning article because it goes into great detail about what they're doing and have been doing ever since they have been unelected and institutionally installed the way they have. Oh, it makes me so happy that people out there are waking up. It makes me so happy that we live in a part of history, in a time of history, where hopefully we don't ever have to shed any blood, but we defeat the enemy from within by holding them accountable. Holding them accountable. Holding them accountable, right? So then we go, let's go into elections here, right? 13 days. Got the great election coming in, right? 13 days. Check this out. FBI. Cyber agency issues disinformation warning 2 weeks before election. How flippin' convenient. This by the Epoch Times. You know, I used to think they were right-leaning, but they're kind of centered right. But anyway, the FBI and the federal agency dedicated to cybersecurity issued a warning on October 18th about efforts by foreign actors trying to spread disinformation regarding the upcoming November 5th election with just over 2 weeks ago before the contest. The FBI and the U.S. Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. Who am I? I'm Brian Riley. And this show is Caught Up, and it's an echo chamber. And how many times have I talked about CISA? And where they get their dirty little grubby hands into, every time they get their dirty little grubby hands into something, what happens? Something catastrophic happens. It fails. You don't believe me? Ask the Scott Key Bridge or the Key Scott Bridge. I don't know. Depends on who you're asking and how they pronounce it. I'm just a guy from East Tennessee with a public education. But anyway, they got their hands on that part of, what was it called? The ports, bridges, those type of things. And like 2 weeks later, some damn merchant ship runs right into it, knocks it down. If you dig a little deeper, you'll find out that some of these pipelines that ran through, like, Pennsylvania on the East Coast side of things, they were held for ransom and then handsomely paid not long after CISA took over. So, what do they got going on here? The FBI and the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency said they have no information suggesting cyber activity against U.S. election infrastructures that has compromised the integrity of voter registration information, prevented an eligible voter from casting a ballot. Well, said they have no information. You'll see. There you go. Impacted the integrity of any ballot cast or disrupted the ability to count votes or transmit unofficial election results in a timely manner. But the two agencies said that foreign adversaries still might promote false or misleading narratives to sway the election to undermine American confidence in its election system and process. I didn't need a foreign adversary to impact the integrity of the ballots or to undermine the American confidence in the election system and process. The federal government already did that for me. I already undermined and I have no confidence in its election system and process, to the point that where I know that Trump said vote early this time, because in 2020 that's not what he was saying, and I have yet to vote early because I don't want my vote manipulated. I mean, it's possible it can be early. They have all these scenarios now that are changed, different than it was from 2020. Just, if you voted early, cool. That's cool. I may still vote early. The conspiracy theorist in me says if I vote early, they try to fuck with my vote. Or is it some Democratic bullshit? I don't know. But that article was from Epoch Times, right? So let's go to. Oh wait, let's go to their actual site. It says it's an official website of the United States government. The National Coordinator for Critical Infrastructure Security and Resilience, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which is CISA. And if you come down here to news updates, Adam Shifty, Robert Costner, man, appreciate you, brother, love you. Right here, October 18, 2024, FBI and CISA issue public service announcement warning. Let's click on it. Oh! Look here. We go back to Epoch Times. My bad, excuse me. We'll go back to the top. It says issued. What's this? FBI and CISA issue public service announcement. Look here. That's Epoch Times sharing the article from the actual CISA. And what's this? FBI and CISA issue public service announcement. This is the actual CISA website. So who's telling the truth, right? The Federal Bureau of Investigation, Cybersecurity, Infrastructure Security Agency issued their final 4-part joint public service announcement, a PSA, titled, "Just So You Know, Foreign Threat Actors Likely to Use Variety of Tactics to Develop and Spread Disinformation During the 2024 U.S. General Election Cycle." As we approach election day, it's important to remember that while elections are political, election security is not. Election security is a national security. Our foreign adversaries are looking to attack our democratic process, I apologize for that, to further their own objectives. And we need the help of all Americans in ensuring that they're not successful, said CISA senior advisor, who? Kate Conley. There's been incredible effort across local, state, and federal governments to ensure the security and integrity of our nation's elections infrastructure. Who do you think did this? Who put the federal government? Who added voting to I forgot the stupid words. Anyway, a part of our damn, I forget the words, guys. I apologize. Obama did it. He made it a part of whatever the couple words that have escaped my mind, to make sure that it was part of the federal government. If we're going through Constitution, all those things that were done by the founders way back when, the federal government was supposed to be involved in our elections. It was left up to the states. Are they teaching that in schools, in public schools? I don't know. I learned it in public school, just very little, like real small. And I had to go dig a little deeper later in life when it finally became important to me. Sure as hell did. So here we got FBI assists to issue public service announcement warning the tactics foreign threat actors are using to spread disinformation in the 2024 U.S. general election. So I think it was last Friday or Tuesday, I forget when it was. I shared the video, I think it was like 10 minutes long, 11 minutes long, about misinformation, disinformation from who? From who? From, oh man, where's it at? Yep. I messed that up. Anyway, JFK School. Forsyth Group. So, it's amazing to me that our federal government is involved with our elections the same way they're involved with all kinds of other things that they should be involved in. And the reason they're involved in these things is because we are allowing it to happen. I say we, not me, so to speak, or other people that I know. We all are trying to do something to slow the process down in some way. But until we start holding these people accountable, it's just going to be repeat. That's it. To some degree. All right. So, if we are talking about Trump's the coming Trump revenge tour, right? We should remind ourselves of that. Kamala says her team of lawyers. Okay, let me ask you guys something. How can you have a team of lawyers to help you in your run through your candidacy for president of the United States when you never even got one single vote? So it says our team of lawyers is prepared if Trump declares victory early, as if election tabulation could drag on for days, if not weeks. So if election is counted and done and finished on the night of election by, we all know by 10 o'clock who the president is, this dumb bitch is going to use her team of lawyers to drag it on for days. Right? Once again, election night might not give Americans the answer they're waiting for. This never, ever, ever, ever happened in my entire life until 2020. Ever since 1992 when I was allowed to vote, until 2020, before I went to bed, or maybe not long after that, I knew who the President of the United States would be. Now, as Democrats seem to be paving the way for weeks of ballot counting, Harris seems to be ready to exploit this uncertainty, warning that her team of lawyers are preparing for a scenario where Donald Trump declares victory early, well before every last mail-in ballot is counted. That should scare the hell right out of you. Mail-in ballot is counted. Ready to exploit this uncertainty, her team of lawyers are preparing for a scenario where Trump declares victory. In Pennsylvania, Secretary of State Al Schmidt has essentially admitted that his state is woefully unprepared. According to Schmidt, Pennsylvania will once again take days, if not weeks, to count ballots due to outdated laws preventing officials from processing mail-in ballots until election days. We did this shit in 2020. Are we not prepared? Do you realize that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court in 2020 said the presidential election was unconstitutional and no one overturned it? The electors for that state were still given to Biden, even though that their Supreme Court, not the U.S., Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Go look it up. I did a show about it. And they got this fucking shit going on again. Man, I love it that Robert's doing that. Appreciate that, man. Again, meanwhile in Georgia, the controversial Secretary of State Brad Rosenberger is extending the timeline, announcing that overseas ballots won't fully be collected until 3 days after the election. Look, guys, they know exactly how many voters are on the voter roll to a T. They know. They know for a fact how many are in each exact state on the voter roll. They know that how many are overseas that are in the military. They know. This is a ploy. This is this is bullshit. They are setting us up already to let us know that November 5th when you vote, or November 6th, whatever damn date it is, you're not going to know till January 9th, 2025, who is duly elected. We've been through this already. We know how this works. There's no there's no remedy. That's the right word. There's no remedy to fix a stolen election. It's fucking the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. The remedy is we the people. That's the remedy. We are the majority. We know the minority is not going to win this. You know Kamala Harris is not going to be president. She's not even an official legal candidate to run for president. And we can go one step further and say she's not a duly, legally elected vice president. They were all installed. So, until the rest of you wake up, not the Robert Costners, not the real Ed Renos, not the old mans of the worlds, not the Danny Elsons, not the Resolute Tech guys, not Brian fucking Riley. No, we're awake. We're waiting. And we're waiting with millions and millions of other people for you guys to figure it out. If you are in the middle of trying to make a decision of who you're going to vote for, you're a fool. I don't need your vote. I don't need your vote. Not at all. If you're struggling between Trump and Kamala Harris, I don't need your. If you claim to be a Christian and you're struggling between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, what you know about abortions, we don't need your vote. You're a low IQ, low information voter. That's what you are. And we don't need that. Let them take your vote and just pick a side. That's better than you not knowing because you didn't pay attention. And one more thing. If you're that individual that's running around saying that you're not into politics, once again, low IQ, low information voter or non-voter or person. Because, again, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. If you complaining about eggs at $4.50 a dozen, that's political. The chicken didn't wake up yesterday and tell the farmer he wanted more money for the egg he was laying. And then the farmer didn't tell The consumer, he wanted more. The chicken's not making nothing. So, low information. All right, I just wanted to do all that today. I wanted to see and show, and I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff, guys. I mean, let's see what else can I get in here. Check this out.
So last night, Kamala held a town hall, and it had all the spontaneity of synchronized swimming. I wonder, would the audience be able to ask questions?
Are we going to be able to answer questions? You're not, unfortunately. We have some predetermined questions, and hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
Yeah. Sorry, Toots. Sorry, Toots, you're just a prop. And come on, we didn't even give you a primary, and you think we're going to let you ask unscripted questions? Hell, Kamala can't even answer scripted questions. We give her a week in advance. So right off the bat, we got the lay of the land. Another manicured platform for Kamala to blurt out her now legendary word salads. I mean, this broad ought to come to every event with a side of ranch and a bag of croutons. Still, these things cannot be overlooked.
These things cannot be overlooked. And I have said many times publicly, and I'll say it again, in many, many ways, Donald...
Who's she sitting next to? You got Kamala Harris and the Cheney chick. That chick was Republican, turned Democrat, turned whatever. She got her ass kicked. She lost her spot. She turned on her constituents. All these things.
Donald Trump is an unserious man?
Yeah, an unserious man. How rich, coming from the candidate who is half Indian, half hyena. But it's Trump who's the unserious person. You know, the guy that built half the NYC skyline has already been president quite successfully, I might add. The guy who raised a beautiful, successful family that anybody would be proud of. A man who has literally taken a bullet for a job he didn't even need. A man who our adversaries admit they respect and even fear. Yeah, he's the unserious one, you dizzy dumbass. And look at Liz Cheney sitting there. She looks thrilled. It's like she's thinking, I quit my political party and all I got was this lousy wino.
This lousy wino. I saw that Tulsi Gabbard just announced at a Trump rally she joined the Republican Party. That's amazing. That's amazing. So when we talk about deep state uniparty, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Robert brought up a great thing. I say that when you talk about the Senate and the House, how many are real, duly elected, patriotic, MAGA candidates? And I would say none of them, but maybe 5 or 6 or maybe 10, right? And then you got Tulsi Gabbard, who goes from one party to the next. She was always that. It's amazing.
But look, I watched the town hall for only one reason. Hoping to hear one more time about the nature of a democracy, where I think there's a duality.
The nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact. An incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
Oh, I never get tired of hearing that. And she never gets tired of saying it.
You know, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, oh, it's so strong in its nature. And it is very fragile. There's a duality to the nature of democracy. On the one hand, incredible strength when it is intact, incredibly strong, and incredibly fragile. The nature of democracy, there's a duality to it. On the one hand, it's very strong. When a democracy is intact, it is also very fragile.
Look, Kamala, if you're going to recycle old crap, at least dress it up a bit. Tyrus's idea is always bongos.
The nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact. An incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that.
Great strength.
And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
Yep. Now, to most people, she sounds stupid. But is she really? Jim Garrity at National Review suggests maybe she isn't. He says the caricature of Kamala Harris as a bumbling dunce makes it easy to underestimate her. It's kind of like how you root for Jesse Waters despite his glaring incompetence. I mean, look at that. Jim also claims that her skill is really getting Democrats emotionally invested in her. It certainly worked with Willie Brown. But that's more than a joke. It's a fact that getting Dems emotionally invested in her means she gets others to do the work she won't do, whether it's Willie Brown or willing Brown voters.
Oh.
See what I did there?
Yes.
I know. But I get what Jim's saying. Don't just say, wow, she's just a dummy, because even if you're right, no one's going to hear it. People do the same thing with Trump. They overlook his actual deeds and focus on his words. Take the latest. Trump calling Democrat leaders the enemy from within.
I know.
Congressman, do you consider Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi to be the enemy from within?
Trump doubled down on his Hitler talking points about the enemy from within.
Donald Trump repeatedly referred to prominent Democrats and others on the left in the United States, American citizens, as, quote, the enemy from within, unquote.
Donald Trump has been given opportunity after opportunity to either downplay or clarify his comments about what he called the enemy from within.
The enemy from within. The enemy from within is not the American, we the people public he's talking about. The enemy from within is in Washington, D.C. It resides within the Senate, the House, the lobbyists, whatever the faction of people that are up there. They have tried to change this narrative to make it sound the way that it does. But I make it sound the way that it is. But it's odd. It's not odd. It's cool that Gutfield is showing all these outlets on his little 7-minute skit here that I got from him, the opening, whatever he does, where they're all talking about the enemy within. The same fucking narrative that they're trying to... They think this is going to change the outcome of the election. It's not going to change the outcome of the election.
Major party candidate, calling his political opponents, quote, the enemy within.
All that douchebag outrage. Even though Democrats not only said the same thing about enemies within, but they actually acted on it.
Yes.
Remember when these a-holes claimed there was extremism within our military? It was big news until the threat was debunked, then the story went away. Or what about the scourge of white privilege and systemic racism that labeled the majority of people, again, within the country, as oppressors and in need of serious re-education? That gave us a divided country, DEI, and a ton of terrible Disney movies. And don't ever forget what they did to anyone during the pandemic who dared to question their BS policies and their lies. So save your outrage. Trump calling Pelosi and Schiff the enemy within is peanuts compared to calling tens of millions of Americans the enemy from within. Hell, you even jailed a bunch of them while letting actual enemies from within, murderers, arsonists, and rapists, go free, which created a new demand on the American public. We now must be diligent all the time. when we're on the streets, on public transportation, about what our kids are being taught in school, who's in our restrooms, who's coming into the country. It's a lot of pressure on us, and we're ready to blow.
That's right.
So that's why the town hall had to be orchestrated. You can't have ordinary people asking a phony candidate questions about the last 4 years. It had to be stage managed, just like it was the last 4 years. Because if you knew the truth, then you'd see the enemy within in all its glory, and you toss it out on its lying ass.
Yep.
Let's welcome...
Brilliant. It's perfect. I love how he did that. I love how he did that, man. He has 7 minutes worth of breaking down exactly, and that's what the American public need to see. If you're going to watch something on TV, I guess that's what I would watch if that's what I was going to watch, but I don't watch much news on TV. So, guys, I want to say thank you. Hit the like button, follow this, that, and the other. We've been going on for a while now, and just know that we are in an information war, and it's not kinetic yet, and hopefully it never becomes that. And I still believe we live in, again, one of the greatest times in the country and of our time, and so we can win this thing. And if you haven't voted yet, get out there and vote. Like I said, Trump says vote early at the moment. I may do that before it's all said and done, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Like, follow, share, and don't let it dominate your life, this right here. If you got a family and wife, kids, parents, grandparents, whatever it is, make sure you put your arms around them, tell them you love them, and you appreciate everything about them each and every day. And then just be a light to the world. Don't get caught up with all the garbage. But don't, by all means, don't ignore it either. So, you guys have a blessed evening. Good day. I'll see you Friday.
My heart, pumping all day long. Get me to morning when darkness comes. My heart, ooh. I'll bear it.